So.
I'm gonna do a new share, and I go to this is
No, that's the PennDOT.
yeah, this is the PennDOT one. I just want to make sure that I can flip between.
Well, I argued against it, like, he was all excited about the meeting, about the asset. I said,
Where's my participants at?
and see if you're in movement. And he met at that gate.
Well,
So, it's my, New Year's, you know.
well, I think that's a good question.
Is it? We'll get it going. We're waiting for anybody.
Anybody in the waiting room? Nope, I just let go. We're good.
Okay, well, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll call it 10 o'clock. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our February meeting of the combined meeting of the TAC and Coordinating Committee. We do want to thank David for hosting today. We appreciate it. And Jeremy, certainly very impressive facility. So,
Yeah, she's hiding back there.
yeah, there you go. Yes, thank you very much. So appreciate you hosting it. Before we get going any further, I want to hand it over to Erie County Planning Director Jessica to kind of kick off the meeting, and we will go from there.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Jessica Rand. I'm the planning director for Erie County. Emily Alloys, who's our transportation planner, who generally is the secretary for the MPO, is now out on maternity leave. I wanted to make that announcement. Her baby was born last evening on February 13th at 9:30 p.m. His name is Samuel Thomas. He's happy and healthy and 7 pounds, 5 ounces. Little
Great.
We're very happy for her. I'm also happy to announce that knowing that Emily was going out on her leave, we were able to hire a new rock star transportation planning person in our office, Audrey Knight, who is stepping into Emily's shoes for the length of her maternity leave. So Audrey joined our team in December and shadowed with Emily through some of December and all of January, and has been well prepared by Emily to follow in her footsteps. But I do ask for your grace if we screw anything up, because we're all new to this, and I'm going to turn it over to Audrey. And of course, we have Nancy Blimmel, our office manager, here to help us as well with all our minutes and things like that and agendas. So thank you all.
Yep, so I know I've talked to a few of you before, so nice to see everybody in person. I've emailed a few too. I am new, so I'm gonna do my best. We're gonna get through this, and I'm excited to work with you guys for the next 3 months.
Excellent. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Nancy, thank you for all that you do as well. With that, the meeting is called to order. Is there any public comment on any agenda items? No? Okay. Hearing none, because this is kind of a hybrid, dual meeting, we do need to elect a chairperson and vice chair for the TAC committee. At this time, I'll ask for nominations for a chair and a vice chair of the Technical Advisory Committee.
I'll make a motion for Matt Waldinger, chair.
Any other nominations for chair? Hearing none, do I have a vote? All in favor of Matt continuing, if he's interested? Aye. No opposed? Congratulations, Matt.
Thank you.
And a vice chair, do I have a nomination for vice chair?
I'll nominate Leanne Parmenter.
Any other nominations? Do I have a motion, or I got the motion and do I have a second? Sorry.
I will second.
All right, okay, and you are interested?
Yeah.
All right, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Congratulations to both of you. And thank you for your continued service to the MPO.
Thank you. Next item would be election of the coordinating committee chairpersons. So I would ask if we have a nomination for the chair of the coordinating committee. Make a motion for Tim May to be chair. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other nominations? All in favor of Tim May as the chair for the coordinating committee?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have a nomination for a vice chair of the coordinating committee.
I'll nominate Mark Welka for vice chair.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Yeah.
Is anybody else interested?
You're it.
Okay.
This is a lifelong.
Well, hearing none, then we'll call for a vote for Mark Welka as vice chair.
Aye.
Thank you. You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, next would be the minutes for the November 8th Technical Advisory Committee meeting. Hopefully all the TAC members have had a chance to review the minutes. If they have, I would accept a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comment on the minutes? We'll take a vote to approve the minutes of the November 8th meeting.
Aye.
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 All right. Thank you. They are approved.
All right, and I will make a motion for the approval of the December 13th, 2023 Coordinating Committee meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make that motion.
All right, got a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion on the minutes of December 13th? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Moving along, Audrey, you can jump in anytime you want, but things are going, seem like you're going all right so far. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see, Nancy's going to put the 2024 meeting schedule up there. And I'll call for a motion for setting the dates of the meetings.
I do want to jump in. The
Yep.
dates are all going to stay the same. But with the county, we're going to switch over to Teams instead of Zoom. I do have an updated sheet in your packet. It's just a different URL, but same dates.
Do I have a motion to approve the meeting dates?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we have our meeting date set. Thank you. Agenda item number 7, I believe Matt Korea might be on the line with us.
Yes, good morning, everyone. How you doing today?
Good, Matt.
Good, good. Would you be able to scroll down to administrative modification number 12, please? It should be the last item on there. See, perfect. There we go. Great, great. Yep. And since the last coordinating committee, there were 12 administrative modifications to the Erie TIP. This project is the reconstruction of State Route 531 in Harbor Creek Township. This action is a cost increase of $3,216,079 in state 581 funds in federal fiscal years 2026 through 2028 on the construction phase to deliver the desirability, feasibility, viability estimate. The funding sources of this action were the US 20 West Herzl Road to New York and the US 20 State Route 4004 through State Route 4016 projects. And this was actually a PMC item, which was submitted to central office on 12/12/2023 and received PMC approval on 1/17/2024. No vote is required on this action, but I just wanted to highlight it for the committee. If there are questions on this item or any other action shown in the packet, please let me know and I can do my best to answer them.
Any questions of Matt? That doesn't cause a delay, correct? That keeps project moving forward? Fine.
Correct.
All righty, great. Did you have any other updates then, Matt?
No, just I'll just hold off to the PennDOT update section at the end of the meeting.
Okay, all right. Then we'll turn it over to Courtney for any amendments.
Yes, so we have 2 amendments that follow up right after the items of Matt's. The first one is we are asking for a vote to add a preliminary engineering phase to the TIP using STP funds. The project we're looking to add is to start design on 19 between Dorn Road and the I-90 interchange. Basically, we're looking at that section for widening between where the last project finished in 19 and up to where it's already widened, just shy of the I-90 interchange. So we're asking for a vote to give $400,000 using the line item as well as some de-obligations from projects that are closed out in Erie.
All right, do I have
First one,
a motion to approve administration action number 1?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
second vote we're asking for is to add a final design phase for the 6N underpass in Springfield Township. It's in preliminary engineering currently. That is 100% state funded, which is why we need a vote to add final design using federal funds. Because we are about ready to go into final design. Looking at using the obligations to fund this as well on projects that are closed out. I'm sorry, it's for $500,000, not $422,000.
All right, do I have a motion to approve administrative action number 2?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brian,
I'll
seconded
second.
by Matt. Any discussion?
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah.
On that underpass, that's an active railroad now? Okay, now, just for education, how are you gonna attack that, intersection or that bridge? Is it going to be like no village or?
No, Mark, you know more details, I can
I
answer.
don't want a lot of detail, but I just,
I know it's a complete bridge replacement.
Yeah.
So it's not like just lowering like they did at McVille. So they're completely removing the existing bridge and building new structure there.
okay, you have clearance, heights there. I mean, I've been through it a lot of times, just
It's low clearance now, low vertical and
Yeah.
restricted horizontally now.
because there's a lot of truck traffic that can come into the Route 6 corridor, especially the quarry.
Right.
They're looking at fixing all of that.
Good.
It's an NHS route, it's a freight pinch point, so that's the purpose of the project, is to open that up.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We had to vote on that, didn't we?
No,
No.
this was
No?
discussion.
Okay, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Courtney.
Mhm.
Agenda item number 8, Audrey, you're on 2025-2028 Transportation Improvement Program draft documents.
Sure, yep, so the Erie MPO 2025 tip is continuing to be developed. Within the meeting materials that you have are the important chapters of the tip. This includes the project selection process, the timeline, the transportation performance management documentation, highway and bridge projects, transit projects, and environmental justice analysis and documentation, as well as the tip revision procedures. Is there anything that the MPO would want to discuss at today's meeting? In May, the TAC will
Courtney, did you have
review.
something?
I just wanted to let everyone know that the list of projects are the same ones that nothing has been changed since we talked in December.
Okay.
So the projects that we are proposing go to public comment, all of those were already discussed.
Okay.
Thank you. In May, the TAC will review the draft documents in the public comment period. But if anything comes up, please reach out before then. Preferably by the end of April to me.
Okay. All right, so there's no action needed on agenda item 8,
No
but yeah,
action
just,
needed.
yeah, any comment, yeah, please get to Audrey by the end of
Yes.
April so she can process it through. So agenda item number 9, transit safety targets and performance management targets. That would be,
That's me too.
okay, all right.
Nancy's gonna have to find it, but
Okay.
one of the draft documents is the transit safety targets within the tip. And it describes the work that the MTA is doing to achieve their safety and assessment management targets. As part of their effort, the Erie MPO needs to vote on the adoption of these targets as well. It should be on the screen and it's also in your packet.
Okay, is there any questions of Audrey on this? If not, I'll call for a motion.
Hold on.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the transit performance measures.
There it is.
There.
Right here.
Peace.
There you go. There.
All right, I have a
Second,
okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's go. We'll continue with the Audrey Show, local federal aid route application.
Yep, so $500,000 a year of STD funds are maintained in a local federal aid route line item in the 2025 TIP. These funds are available to the 11 municipalities that own federal aid routes in the county. An application form, which is up on the screen, also in your packet, has been created based on the previous selection process, which includes a 2-year application cycle with awards going to the segments in the worst condition, divided into low ADT and a high ADT category. Would anyone like to propose any changes to the selection criteria? If not, I'll just move on. Applications for this round of funds will be due May 1st to me. And hopefully in May, PennDOT will be able to bring the road conditions as they have done previously.
If the communities don't know that whether the 11 communities, are to be reaching out to those 11 communities to let them know they have local federal aid routes in their townships and boroughs and that they can apply.
Yes.
I talked to Emily about this, but just want to let everybody know. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the applications will be taken and scored this year, but the funds will be released for paving in 2025. Correct. Okay.
So the funds
So-
will be available after this October, not that you're gonna be letting any projects necessarily, but yes,
Yeah, so it wouldn't be for anything to be constructed this year.
correct.
And the 500,000, as I understand from Emily, is 500,000 1 year and 500,000 the second.
Correct.
Total of $1 million.
And what we've been able to do historically is cash flow those projects. So say all the municipalities that were awarded that, say they both wanted to let their projects in 25. We can let them in 25 if they're ready to go, and pay for them between 25 and 26. Normally one ends up wanting to go in 25 and one ends up wanting to go in 26. You know, it just happens that they're not necessarily always ready to go at the same time, so. They will require, if you're awarded the money, you will enter into a reimbursement agreement. The municipality is responsible for the design of the project. It would have to let through the ECMS system because it's federal funds. And then the work would be done through a contract with inspection, that we would be able to help set up. And then anything above the award is the municipality's responsibility to fund. And, the top amount you would be awarded is the top amount that you ask for. So we do rely on the municipalities turning in good estimates for what they need. We don't normally, historically in Erie, award extra if bids come in high. Normally that's on the municipality to pay that overage. So that's why we ask that you make sure you turn in good estimates. So that way then you're not short the money. And if anybody would like to know any current estimates that we are going off of, if you just email me, we can get you estimates from our ECMS system. There's a link right there that tells you how you can go in and you can look it up. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
And if there's a municipality that hasn't taken advantage of this program yet, we can help, kind of walk them through that process. We can share some example plans. They can be very simple plans, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So it's not a huge engineering effort. It's a typical section and some item numbers and some other sheets and things like that. Just reach out to us.
Excuse me, how much money total was there and how many projects?
It's $1 million over 2 years. And half of it is for routes that have less than 3,346 average daily traffic, and 500,000 for roads above that.
Harbor Creek is in the process of finishing one this summer. Just to let you know, it is an easy process for application, and PennDOT is very helpful in, preparing your proposal and stuff like that. So definitely look into it if you can maybe send out the list of, just because I don't think Harbor Creek was aware that we even had local federal aid routes till a few years ago. But yeah, definitely, it's definitely a program to take advantage of. Any other questions regarding, local federal aid?
We put in an application last year. Do you still have it on the file, or should we put it in another?
I may have it in a file. I can go back and look. I always keep the ones that are awarded, but I don't always keep the ones that were submitted that were not awarded.
I'd probably recommend resubmitting.
I think you do need to
Fresh up the-
Well, yeah, you would need to resubmit, but I don't know if you have an old copy of it. If I have it that you need, I can try to share it.
Okay, moving on to, the chair of the subcommittee for the $5 local use fee. Matt Jonas, you want to give us an update, please?
Sure. I think on the screen here, we're gonna have the membership. Anyways, membership of the committee has been kind of dwindling down as people leave. No one kind of comes in and replaces them. So right now we have Leanne, Matt Craig, Ron Boyle, Jessica, Tim, you're on the committee, Bill Kuhn, Tom McCullen, myself, and Jason Sayers are the current voting members. Whenever we first started, we had some members from Mill Creek and some other people from the county, and they kind of vanished over the years and haven't been replaced. So anyone who's on the TAC or the coordinating committee as either a member, a voting member, or an alternate is eligible to be a member of this committee as well. So we're kind of looking for volunteers to kind of fill some vacancies to get more representation. Or if you see your name on there and you don't want to be on there anymore, let us know as well. So that's the first agenda item.
Matt, we for sure thought Mill Creek might want to have somebody on this group, because we're not.
I can ask. I think we had a supervisor previously, and then when they left, I think nobody else picked it up, but I can certainly see if there's anyone from engineering interested.
And then the second item is the allocation of funds. We have two projects. The Wellington Road Bridge is looking for an additional $45,900 for engineering and construction. Basically kind of a change in scope of the engineering. They want to analyze the existing beams to make sure they're structurally adequate for the improvements, as well as the increase includes construction inspection. And then the second project that's looking for an increase is the Francis Road Bridge, $25,341.94. Whenever they are doing the preliminary inspections of the bridge, they notice there's some bats that are living between the beams. So during the winter time here, they're gonna try to relocate the bats to put in some bat boxes adjacent to the bridge to try to get them out of the beams into a safer spot before they do any of the demo work. So that's the going rate for relocating bats. And then before we vote, just a couple informational items. We had two new poor condition bridges added to the list. Page Road Bridge in Menango Township and Hammett Road on the border of Summit Township and Canadian Township were added on as poor condition bridges. So if any other questions, let me know, but quick rundown.
Mr. Chairman,
Yep, you're right. Yes.
just, some more business here with Cockburn Avenue Bridge. How's that project coming?
Good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're on schedule. Our consultant is, actually gonna be in town next week. He's beyond 90% final design. I think he's almost close to 100. So we're expecting something really soon from him. And then it'll progress into bidding.
Okay, thank you.
Do we need to call for a vote if there were no additional members at this time and just kind of re-upping.
the subcommittee? Or do we have to does the TAC have to reapprove the slate for 2024?
Approval of subcommittee.
Okay, sorry.
membership.
That's fine. This vote would be for any technical advisory committee members. I don't know, Nancy, would you mind going back up to the membership list? We would have to just approve the membership of the subcommittee for 2024. If everybody has a chance to review and if anyone's interested, I'd entertain a motion to approve this slate.
Matt, would we be able to say and potential, Mill Creek appointment?
I think you can probably add through the TAC as the year goes on, but
Okay.
you know, these are the current, this is the current roster.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? And I'll call for the vote for TAC members. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed?
Okay, and then we need to make a motion for the increases for the Francis Road Bridge in Girard Township and the Wellington Street Bridge in the Northeast Borough. Do I have a motion to increase those funds?
I'll make that motion.
Second it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
During the discussion, it was also brought to me that, if you have more bat removal, Mark Welk, Bat Removal Incorporated is willing to, do it for. Yes, yes. Seems like a good gig. All right, moving on to the UPWP, Audrey, please.
Yep, so in the 2024-2025 UPWP, our transportation study funds that are available to municipalities and transportation authorities, which can be applied for. This is a bit lower than previous years just because the long-range transportation plan will be updated starting in September of this year. Back to the UPWP, preference will be given to studies that have gone through a public planning process, such as the long-range transportation plan. If anybody is interested, the applications are due back to me by May 1st. And those who are interested, please plan on presenting just a short summary of the study at the May 8th MPO meeting.
If you need a study of intersections in your community, it's in your comp plan, that would also qualify as being part of a plan.
Yeah, preference to any plan. Yeah.
Any other questions of Audrey on UPWP? If not, we'll move on to agenda item 13, Transportation Planning Consultant RFP.
Yeah, so our current open-end agreement with the WRA is ending come May 1st. Having the open-end agreement with the consultant has saved a lot of time. Having to put out a request for a consultant every time a study is funded through the UPWP. Additionally, municipalities can piggyback on the contract when using other funds, so they don't have to go through a consultant selection process either. If any MPO voting member would like to be a part of the proposal review, please let me know by the end of the month.
We're putting out an RFP for a new consultant.
If I could. I'd just like to say, you know, on behalf of Mill Creek, we've used it in both for UPWP studies and for a township study that we cooperated with the consultant that was on staff. And it is nice having somebody pre-vetted, somebody that already is aware of, you know, Erie County, knows the long-range transportation plan and things. So I do think it's a benefit to have a consultant ready to go if you need.
Yep, it would be helpful to have anybody who's willing to put their opinions of the proposals, just have extra eyes to look it over. So whoever's interested, let me know.
Great.
Also, anecdotally, if you work with WRA and you want to let Audrey know what your experience has been, because we're hopeful that as the current contractor, they'll also put in a proposal, but we wouldn't want to be remiss and not hear from you on how your experience has been.
Can I ask the question, REA, where are they based out of? What's their pedigree?
They are, at least a regional firm. I know that the office that we've worked with is, I believe is in Cranberry right now. I don't know how far their reach goes, but I do think they go down into Maryland and some areas beyond here. I don't think it's nationwide, but certainly, you know, Pennsylvania, Maryland. Yeah, I don't know any others.
And in the district, you work with them on projects?
Yes, they do excellent work for us.
We've done a lot of stuff for the Erie MPO, Lawrence Park, Fairview, Mill Creek. We've done a lot for the city of Erie.
Summit.
They've done a lot of work.
Yeah. All right, moving on to agency updates. Is Tom online or?
Mark is going to
Mark
give
is gonna-
Tom's presentation,
okay.
yes.
Mark Nicholson? Hello.
And you have it, right, Audrey, or do you need?
I got it,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. I brought it on the flash drive just
There
in
it
case
is.
too.
I'm the top, it's a very-
The slide for me, so I'll try to do the best I can. Question to stop me and talk about it, so.
Sorry.
Okay,
mouse
you go to
is
the
in-
bottom by the slide bar. Very bottom of the
The
screen.
mouse is like, I'm moving the mouse, but it's
Oh,
not
got you.
showing that I'm moving the mouse.
There it goes.
There it is up there.
I know.
Holy cow.
You see it on your screen.
What about is this?
You can try your arrow, please.
Oh, there it is.
Uh-huh.
There it is. Now you can just do this.
Sorry.
Okay, so just a few personnel changes, to go over real quick. Our utility administrator, Mike Hall, is recently retired. We do have a new utility administrator, just started a week or so ago. Josh Dalton, some of you may have worked with them, but he worked under Mike for a number of years, so, that should be pretty seamless. Ben Benson, has joined the bridge unit. He's going to be working as the assistant bridge engineer, overseeing the design effort, working directly under Hanson Oski. We also created a new right-of-way administrator, level 1 position, in our right-of-way unit. That's to help out with, our outdoor advertising, sign program, and also our right-of-way disposition, process and property management. And they'll also be supporting project delivery for right-of-way acquisition of the project. As far as future changes, digital delivery, 3D modeling is a big topic for us right now, going through that update and that new way of doing designs for our in-house projects. And of course, our consultant team, business partners are also learning that new software and new process alongside of us. So we are looking at possibly some changes to our bridge inspection team classifications. That's more of an internal thing for us. And our utility unit is moved over to our right-of-way unit because should help those units coordinate better. It seems like a better fit. So next slide, please.
Next slide.
So this is just an update on where we're at as a whole district. So far to date, we've let 4 projects. I think this was as of a week or 2 ago, roughly $2.2 million. The total program for District 1, all 6 counties, this isn't just Erie County, $267 million. It's noteworthy that the large project that that encompasses a lot of that, $267 million, is our Mercer County Interstate 80 reconstruction project. I think that estimate's right around $90 million. So that's a good portion of that $267 million going into that one project. So next slide, please.
So this provides a little bit of a breakdown, on the top, those first 4 projects that I mentioned, just shows you what type of projects they were. We had 1 safety project, 1 local project, and 2 bridge projects, so far. The next section down, the first number is the district-wide number, and then the number in parentheses, I believe, is for, Erie County. So, for this year, we have 19 paving projects across our district. 2 of those will be here in Erie County. Bridge projects, 20 across the district, 4 of which will be, in Erie County. Bicycle and pedestrian projects, we have 1, apparently none, in Erie County. District-wide projects, those are like, raised pavement markings, guide rail projects, those kinds of things. 5 of those safety projects, 6 across the county, district, and 1 in Erie County. Local projects, 13, and 5 of which, will be left here in Erie County. Next slide. That's the 5-point roundabout. That's just an introductory slide for Erie County. Next slide. So these next series of slides are just going to go project specific for each of the projects that will be let across the county. This is one of the safety projects that we'll be letting. This is the application of a high friction surface treatment. Just short shy of 1 mile of this application. This is an epoxy and an aggregate application that's applied to the road surface on Route 8 and Route 18 in Venango, Pontiac Township. That project was let already in order to meet this construction. So, next slide. First bridge project, this is State Route 4103, which is Bargain Road over I-90. I believe we did a project for this road over I-79 either last year or the year before. This will be a similar type of project where there'll be a preservation where we'll remove the existing wearing surface off the bridge, reapply a waterproofing, deck repairs, probably some bridge joint replacement work, and some repair work to the pier columns and as needed. But preservation project, it's not a replacement, and it's like that'll be letting here in mid-March. Next slide. The infamous 531 Depot Road project, that's scheduled to let here in mid-March. We're still working through the last of the EP declaration, taking to the right-of-way process. Very close. I don't know that we'll make a letting for March 14th, but it may be 2 weeks after that. But that's the plans. PS&E package is pretty much ready to go. We're just waiting for that final finish. And I believe just general scope of work, that's some roadway reconstruction, including the concrete paving at the ramps of the interchange 90. I believe there's a turn lane at the school as well, along with all the typical drainage and improvements to go along with that. Next slide. The Route 19 project from Oliver to Rotunda. This is a pavement preservation project, which is largely just a resurfacing, so it'll be a mill and pave for that busy stretch of Peachtree. Pretty much a maintenance paving type of a project. That should be going out to bid any day now. I was helping the project manager on a few things yesterday, so that project's on schedule. Next slide. Union City Borough, the TAC CC project, pedestrian project, east side of Bridge Street from Concord Street to High Street, which is Route 6. Willow Street from Bridge Street to Market Street, and the section of Concord Street from the school entrance to the Bridge Street. Lindsay, I'm assuming that's all sidewalk paperwork.
Yes, that's gonna be like sidewalks.
Next slide, please. Erie County local bridge waterproofing contract. I believe we reduced that down to 2 bridges, Evans Road and Old Lake Road. I believe the work is being done by our district bridge unit in Little City. We sponsored those on behalf of the bridge owners. The project scheduled for that in mid-April. It is to proceed in May. Next slide, please. I believe, Tim, this might be the project that you had mentioned, the local federal aid route in Harbor Creek. That will be on Nagel Road. It's pretty much, those projects are largely just pavement resurfacing, reapplication of a pavement wearing surface, scheduled to let in May. Next slide, please. Jordan Road over I-90. This is a complete bridge replacement. This was a low vertical clearance bridge that's had a history of some collision damage over the years. The bridge was in poor condition. It was also created a bottleneck for us for overheight trucks that needed to use I-90. So we are replacing this bridge to raise it up, provide the minimum vertical clearance that we're required to have over an interstate facility. This project is on schedule. We're finalizing the right-of-way clearance now. I think we have one claimant left to settle with, so this project's looking good for staying on target. I don't know that we'll see construction starting this year with the wet of June. We may see construction actually starting in 25. Next slide, please. This is the old 99. These are local bridges. There's a total of 3 projects, 3 bridges on old 99 that are being replaced in Richmond Township. Those are all 3 bridge replacements. I believe that we're working through right-of-way clearance right now and just finalizing up the plans. I think everything's on schedule for this. We should be good for our let of June of this year. Next slide. This is a bridge preservation type of a project. We call it a shotcrete group, where it's typically metal culverts that we apply a spray on concrete type of a treatment to extend the life of the metal culverts. There's 2 bridges on this project, one on State Route 430 Station Road, and the other's on over Mitchell Run, State Route 4024, which is Robinson Road. It's fairly small culverts, 8 to 9 feet. This has been a pretty successful preservation type of work for us over the years. And I think there is some right-of-way clearance that they're working through on that, but last I know, they're on schedule for a July let. Fine. Edinburgh TAC CC project. This is a sidewalk project and also involves a pedestrian bridge that will be added over the stream, which I don't recall. But the idea here is to provide a pedestrian route along Route 6 from downtown Edinburgh over to the college entrance along Route 6. I think that project's moving along pretty well. They're getting ready for right-of-way acquisitions to start. Let date of August of this year, probably again based on that time frame. Probably see most of the work being done actually next year. Next slide. Is that it? Okay. Okay, 20 Mile Creek Bridge. So this is the bridge that's located just shy of the New York line on Route 20. Interesting thing with this bridge is we thought we were going to be doing more of a preservation type of a project with this, but as of lately, actually within the last week or so, and working with the consultant engineer, we found that there's some more extensive repairs that are going to be needed done with this bridge. We're actually talking about maybe doing more of a superstructure replacement where we could actually replace beams in the deck. So this bridge is actually going through a scope, a lot of scope discussions right now. I'm not so sure about the September let date at this time. Like I said, this has all just come up within the last week. So I think we'll have to report back on this project at a later time, as we know more about the scope. These are just district-wide, lettings that we do. I think we can go through these pretty quick. Next slide. Yeah, RPM, reflective paving markings. Again, these are contracts that, go across all of District 1, all 6 counties. Next slide. We are starting a new on-demand bridge repair contract. There will be one set up for Erie County, and the purpose for these contracts is if there's any type of, high priority, maintenance type repair, needs that are identified as part of our NBIS, program or inspections. The way that normally works is we go to our Erie County Bridge Crew. They're typically able to handle most of what we need, but occasionally we do get into a need where it would be better to have a contract perform that work. This contract will allow us to do that much quicker rather than creating a separate contract for each bridge. This gives us the ability to react a lot quicker for the immediate repairs that may be needed to a bridge. So. Guide rail contract, pretty self-explanatory, just any needs for updating or repair work that's needed across the district for guide rail related. Next slide, please. And highway lighting, similarly, for any repairs or upgrades that may be needed for existing highway lighting systems. Next slide. A district-wide drilling contract, that's primarily used for our geotechnical unit for obtaining soil borings that we use for foundation, for bridges, retaining walls. We also take pavement bores for pavement design purposes, but we try to do as much as that with our in-house drilling contract. It's proven to be pretty cost effective for us over the years to support the design efforts for both our in-house folks and also consultant projects. Next slide. So I have any questions? Anybody?
I just have a comment. This has been an excellent presentation.
Thank
I
you.
really want to thank the people who put the work in this. I mean, a lot of times we gloss over some of this, but the way you set it up and the way you've gone through it, it's really understandable. So the hard work, I know there's a lot of hard work put into this, but it's appreciated. Thank you very much.
Any other questions of Mark? I would echo the sentiments of Dave as far as it's nice to see where our money is going locally, so thank you. If no questions of Mark, is Ronika on the line for some federal updates?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Roni.
Okay,
Thanks for
perfect. Yeah. So nothing too grand on my side. I have been kind of in the background helping to review the draft UPWP and the draft 2025 TIB, working with the MPO and PennDOT. The MPO has been doing great with that and working with Courtney and of course central office, Brandon and other counterparts there. It's been good to see what the MPO is doing in preparation for the TIB and all of the things that are in the UPWP coming down the pipeline. And other than that, I can just remind you all about the discretionary grant opportunities, the NOFOs that are currently out there. There are a number of them that are out there that you may already know about or haven't heard about, including the RAISE discretionary grant program, which stands for Rebuilding American Infrastructure and Sustainability and Equity. And then there's also a NOFO out there for Rural Autonomous Vehicles program. And I've also been made aware of some other planning discretionary grant programs that are coming down the pipeline. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I believe one of our planners have already sent out information on that. And I can put that in the follow-up materials that I'll send to to the MPO following this meeting, just so you all are aware of everything that's going on. Yeah, other than that, I don't have anything significant, too significant that, you know, the MPO should be aware of. If anything comes to mind, I'll definitely put it in the follow-up minutes, or the follow-up document that I'll send over. And that, yeah, that's it, I believe. Yep.
All right, great. Any questions of Ronique? Thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it, Ronique.
Yep, my pleasure.
Matt Crea, back with PennDOT.
Yep. Just two quick updates on my end. The first, I would like to announce an RLA award. And just to recap, the Pennsylvania's RLA program aims to improve safety at signalized intersections by providing automated enforcement at location where data shows red light running has been an issue. The grant funding is supplied by fines from red light violations at 34 intersections in Philadelphia. And the city of Erie was awarded $55,000 for replacing and upgrading 201 city-owned streetlights along the Bayfront connector with new LED light fixtures. The second update I'd like to mention is a PennDOT Connects municipal outreach session. This would be a great opportunity to learn about the PennDOT Connects process. This meeting is scheduled for April 24th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It will be strictly virtual. Space is limited and registration is required, and I will drop that registration in the chat box for those who are interested. And those are the two updates I had. I'd be happy to take any questions.
I have a question, Jim.
Yes.
The project for the intersections, is that a foray into, intersection cameras? Like Texas and other states have?
Yes, automated red
I
light.
know Pennsylvania has dealt with that with the legislature, whether they're gonna go into cameras or, are the cameras now legal in Pennsylvania? To what extent?
Just those intersections, right?
Yeah, just those intersections. And then there's also the automated speed enforcement that is used on the turnpike and interstates.
Do you want to
Similar.
explain that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That was a pilot, automated work zone speed enforcement. So if you've driven by, usually you'll see them on an interstate or a turnpike project. We had, basically, partnered with the turnpike. There was legislation put forward that allowed it to be a pilot. And I'm not an expert on really the way that the law came into being finally. So I probably, would be talking out of school if I tried to go there, but it's a program where we have SUVs that can be set up in a work zone. It has to be, the public has to be notified. So there's signage that goes up before that, letting the drivers know that there is automated speed enforcement. And basically it takes a picture similar to the way the toll booth, the Easy Pass toll booths would work now. So it tracks vehicle speed going through the work zone, construction work zones. And it takes a picture of the license plate and will mail a ticket if it's over a certain amount over the speed limit. So.
And those are just at construction sites, they're not using cameras at, regular stretches that can present speed at.
That's correct. And I think it was a 2-year pilot, if I remember correctly. And my understanding is that it was just, the law was just finalized that allowed it to continue indefinite in work zones.
Brian, these SUVs are usually set up with lights too, aren't they?
I
think I've seen a couple.
They definitely have some kind of an orange placard on them. They all generally, everyone that I've seen looks the same,
Yeah, a lot of times I've seen, one sitting there with the lights on, caution traffic.
We have seen just a terrible uptick in construction accidents across the industry over the last several years. So anything that can be done to get people to slow down and pay attention in a work zone, PennDOT will always be a supporter of. And we've seen them to be effective, but we've also seen that I think we're talking about ways that the program could be changed to make it more effective. So there's been the observation that hasn't necessarily been tested, that we're hearing from contractors that people, they recognize that vehicle, they see the signs, they slow down, and then once they're past it, that they tend to speed up again, even though they're still in the works of it. So there's more work to do, but it's a good thing, I think. And it's not a huge revenue generator. The intent is to enhance safety and to get people to go the proper speed, not a cash cow of any kind. Anyways, it's related to the Arlie program, which is strictly cameras on intersections, like Matt said in Philadelphia, that take pictures of people running red lights or whatever.
I had an accident in that situation in Philadelphia where a car ran a red light right in front of me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions of Matt? All right, Matt, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you.
That we'll talk to you in May, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. EMTA, got some update for us?
A couple of things. We did secure a construction management firm to complete our transit-oriented development space over here, the 18,000 square feet of retail. Gannett Fleming, we should have bid documents by the end of this month. We're going to go out in March. And according to the schedule that they gave us, we should be done in August. That's our hope. And then the only other thing I would mention is that we have secured the grant that you gave us, the planning grant that you gave us last year for the power study down at the intermodal and here on 14th Street. We have engaged Polara. This is exactly the kind of work that they do. They're going to do the study, both the existing infrastructure that we have. They're going to do an analysis of the feeder lines coming into Erie from the power companies to determine what level they're at now. And then they're going to model out, if we were to put 5 charging stations, what would that look like? If we put 25 charging stations, what would that look like? My hope is that this is going to reveal where we are at relative to power as people begin to start to buy more electric vehicles. Erie is doing electric garbage trucks and things. So we're gonna have to face the fact that all of that has to have a power. And so we really need to know what power is available and what costs might be associated with bringing more power to the sites that we need. So this will be the first small step, but I hope it'll be revealing.
Can I make a comment? I want to commend IMPA for this study. And also the MPO for funding it, because this is a great step forward. But the real key here is what David said about studying the power that's coming in. You can put these stations up, but there's only so much power in the grid to service all of this new demand. I think if you live in Mill Creek, you understand, the power grid situation. I mean, with the problems that Mill Creek has sometimes. Not to pick on Mill Creek, but what I'm saying is,
I'm sitting too.
yeah, and if you're draining power off for transit and all these different demands, you're going to take something away from the commercial and the residential. So I want to commend them for stepping out and looking at the broader picture. And hopefully we'll start a trend that we'll be able to work forward.
Yeah, we might have some info by the May meeting, in fact, so we'll see.
Okay, Audrey, the
Yeah.
2023.
Yep, so just want to share that last year, over 44 million federal funds were obligated in Erie County. That report is posted online for more information on which projects got the federal obligations. Some other things I just want to mention. the Polera, we are under review for the contract. So everything is all set. Once that has been reviewed and approved, we're gonna start the work on that. What else do I have? I have an update for the local use fee subcommittee. I have an STC meeting. It's gonna be in Erie this year. And of course, it's on May 15th at 10 a.m. So I was, going to come up with May 22nd. That works for everybody on that committee. I can send an email out to.
Yeah.
Just so that that's on the radar. That, yeah, I guess
All good?
we're ready for.
Okay, all right.
I've got one more thing.
Yeah.
Can I throw one more thing out?
Sure.
Just because I'm not sure when this is gonna start and when our next meeting is, but at some point in this year, but in the near future, we're gonna be starting a transportation development plan. We haven't done it in many years, so you will all be hearing from me as we start to look for input from you. But at this point, right now, from this point forward, if you're doing any kind of work that would affect, or if you'd like to affect a route, a shelter, a cutout, anything that might be on your radar as you deal with your community, please reach out to me, because we want to get as much input as we can from you so that that can go right into the study. So that we're not doing the study and then you come back and say, well, wait a minute, we would like to do this or that. So we've got a few months, I think, before that really starts to dig in. So just reach out to me here at EMTA, drobinson@rivethe.com. I'd be happy to just at least note your ideas and your plans and any concerns you might have, so that we can make sure that that's right on the top of the pile when we start to gather data. That's all.
Just a comment, a question, I guess, on this issue. Lake and Quarry, there's 2 or 3 sites that might be able to use a shoulder. How do we go about, working with, your organization to, request or take a study or look at that?
The general deal has been that, if we have a shelter in storage, we'll provide that shelter. We ask you to do the pad. So if you do the concrete pad, it's got to be the ADA standards, et cetera. The site has to be appropriate, has to be a safe spot, has to be on a corner. But yeah, we'll work with you. Right now, because I had a request, we don't have any shelters right now on hand. We've got them ordered, but it's about a 9-month wait. I don't know exactly where they are in this, but I know it's going to be several months away. Yeah. So again, if you're anticipating, the sooner that you let me know, the sooner we can get it on get you on the list, that kind of thing. Plus you'd have some preliminary work to do on the site anyway before you do.
We can always send staff members out too, just to see if it's
Yeah,
an area that is workable.
right.
A follow-up question. If a municipality wants to put a shelter in themselves, knowing with the 9 months, et cetera, and they feel that they can, afford to do it, does INCA work with you on the process?
Yes and no. So we have to make sure that it's either a stop within one of the routes. Then also the main thing is that we have to make sure that it's ADA. So, as long as, the grade has to be a certain percentage and everything.
Right.
We're also gonna have some concerns about the aesthetics of it too.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
We don't want.
If a community wanted to go ahead and construct their own shelter,
We
take
did
that
on
responsibility.
The Sisters of St. Joseph, they have the one with the greenery on top. So we do make sure we stop and maintain. I'm not sure in this situation, I think it was our shelter
and they added stuff on top of it. But we'll still be able to put the schedules and everything in there for everyone. I think you would just have to meet other staff members, like I said, make sure.
Well, I think it's a good idea that if there's always involved, but I'm just saying, sometimes to push the project ahead, a local municipality might find funding or something, to construct the shelter.
Okay, hearing of the public, is there any public comment?
Yes, I have some public comments. My name's Freda Tepfer and I live in Erie. And back in November, I said that I would like some updates on projects on Pittsburgh Avenue and APS that PennDOT neglected to put in at 38th and Green Garden when they upgraded the traffic light there. I also suggested a city council study session to explain the terms used by the MPO and the activities goals of the MPO. So nobody ever got back to me about that. I'm concerned about, there are some ongoing projects on Pittsburgh Avenue. There's a dire need for sidewalks on Pittsburgh Avenue. It was put into the list of betterment projects. I'm trying to find out what it would take to get sidewalks put in there. But a lot of people, especially now that some of the bus routes have changed, are walking between, at least between 21st and 8th Street. And there are very few sidewalks south of 12th and even at 12th. And you know, Mill Creek owes us, Mill Creek or the mall there owes us a sidewalk on the west side of Pittsburgh between 12th and 8th. Because they did all the improvements for the mall, they should have had to put a sidewalk in.
The only obligation that we have from a developer is for the frontage of the Chipotle. They did not install that sidewalk right now because that sidewalk would just lead people into that chain link fence that houses or contains Cascade Creek. And so the thought was if you got people walking north, they would just hit that fence and have to either walk in the street or cross the road at an uncontrolled intersection. That is the only current obligation we have. As the plaza develops, it may trigger
All the
other
millions that they
obligations.
spent on the renovations does not trigger the need for a sidewalk.
Not in that location. They have done some in other frontages, but
Wow. Anyway, I also will mention on 21st Street between Green Garden and Pittsburgh, there's probably only two blocks of the whole portion there that doesn't have some kind of sidewalk. And a lot of people actually walk that way. It would be really great if we had a sidewalk, and I'm not sure how to get there. I want to caution people that there is a developer of two apps that are used by people who are visually impaired, and they're trying to make a case that this app could take the place of APS signals. That's not consistent with MUTCD or ADA or anything else. The app has very good use, but they are an internet dependent thing. They require somebody to have a technology. They're not foolproof, and that nobody should assume that they can bypass having an APS by using this app. I also want to encourage PennDOT and any other jurisdictions, even if they have projects that are well into the design phase, there are more current guidelines for roundabouts and bike paths as a result of the PROAG and the new MUTCD. And I hope that the very latest guidelines are used in some of these major projects, especially like Bayfront Parkway. And mentioning the Bayfront Parkway, the sidewalk closures and the signage for the sidewalk closures is less than desirable. Somebody, and this is clear in the new MUTCD and the PROAG, a pedestrian needs to have a signage prior to the point where they have to make a decision how to proceed when there's a sidewalk closure. So if there is a sidewalk closure barrier after you've crossed the street, that is not the proper placement of a detectable notification of a sidewalk closure.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, I have one more thing.
Okay.
About the study session and the tip, I heard again mentioned, an application for studies and that inclusion in the tip could be considered adequate public involvement. I want people to understand that the average person has no idea what's going on with the tip. They have no idea that you can put a project in the tip and you can have a public involvement process for the entire tip and then claim that that was public involvement for the project or the study or whatever. So there needs to be a more robust public involvement, public education about what the heck this tip is and which projects are and aren't covered. What public involvement for projects that are gonna happen down the road are covered by tip. Otherwise, people are being foreclosed. Also, somebody mentioned they were gonna put something on the chat about an April 24th PennDOT Connects conference. I'm not on the chat, so I would like to receive information about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other hearing of the public?
I did have one comment. I was looking over the dates that you had talked about for the meetings. The one invite that was sent out actually says June 12th or 13th or something, but it says on here the 26th.
Yes, the 26th is the correct date. Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
If I could, I guess piggyback on that, since you are gonna move to Teams and have a new URL, I know that Emily had sent us all calendar invites for everything with the
Yes.
Zoom links. Would you be able to send an update?
Absolutely. Yep.
So that should hopefully be corrected with
Yep,
that.
absolutely.
Thank you.
On that, want to say, just to speak to the next meeting that you're talking about, Emily did send an email out prior to her leaving on Friday, that has all the information there to sign up. Send it again, but she does send it to all of the municipalities and anybody on her list. And I believe that Matt had said he's going to add that into minutes, not this Matt, not Fran, but, into the minutes or something that the link would be there to sign up.
I think I did see it pop up in the chat.
If there's no other public comment, yes, Brian.
I've got a response, I think, to something that Fred had mentioned that I wanted to share, just so everybody's aware. Public involvement for PennDOT, we consider the TIP and the projects, public involvements, related but separate. So the TIP has its own public involvement process. Each of our projects on the TIP that we deliver also has public involvement, and even projects where a local municipality might sponsor, we work with them through the public involvement process. So we treat that kind of as, we try to tailor that public involvement to the project type, scope, and impact. So something that is a very simple resurfacing that's gonna have minimal impact on the public and the environment. We might do a very simple type of public involvement, which might just be online plans display and press releases, that type of thing, all the way up to the most complex projects that could have multiple public meetings and workshops and things like that. So we PennDOT don't look at the TIPS public involvement process as covering all those projects at all. Also just wanted to mention, Mark gave the presentation today of the look ahead of the 2024 year, what's in design now, what we expect to go to construction. We'd like to have our construction folks come at some point in the year and kind of give an update of how things are going, maybe mid-construction season, maybe a look back at the end if appropriate. So it'd be something similar to what Mark just did, but a focus on those construction phases. We always know, I think when spring hits, new projects that are starting, new traffic control, new detours are set up, and we a lot of times are getting a lot of questions at that time of year. So for the May 8th meeting, we'll try to have our ace, Nate Nunez, be here for that in case there's any specific questions. But just wanted to throw out in general to the MPO, like we've had this conversation over the years many times. We're always willing to present anything. We've had some busy, the last year or so busy with tip update and those types of things. But in the past, we've given presentations hoping to be helpful to municipalities bridge owners, for example, or bridge engineer could come and give a presentation on some things related to bridges. We could do something related to pavement, asset management, anything like that, we'd be happy to do. So we're open to that suggestion. We don't want to force that on anybody if it's boring or not valuable, but it's the offers on the table.
Great, thank you.
And just a reminder to Fred and the others that the comment period, public comment periods for the 25 to 28 tip will be from May 15 to June 13. Obviously, the MPO and the transportation planners from our office will be working on getting the word out to get more engagement as much as we can and using other avenues and sources to do that, to get the public's input during that 30-day comment period. So we're open to suggestions. I know Emily had just last year done the public participation planning and all those comments that were made by citizens on how we might reach out to more folks. We will be implementing those with that public comment period.
Yep, for sure. I do have a public comment on behalf of Castle Olminski. She couldn't make it to the meeting. She has some concerns about state law pedestrian signs that have been flattened
In the roundabout.
in the roundabout. She's just concerned for.
Yeah, we were made aware of that. I talked about it the other day,
Okay.
and he discussed it with the traffic unit or PennDOT's traffic unit. They were going to reach out to the townships, since there was co-ownership there, to see if they had any maintenance responsibilities over the signage. And that's all that I know right now.
Okay.
But when we get that answer, we can follow up with her.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Any other public comment? If none, I want to thank EMTA and their hospitality again today. We appreciate it. And hats off to Audrey on her first venture. Thank you. Well done. Nice job. Look forward to working with you more. Our next meeting will be back here, May 8th at 10 a.m. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.